Well, we can answer.
All right, hockey fans, not just Panther fans now, but hockey fans. So as promised, Stu and I are not skipping a beat here. Mainly because number one, the channel's doing good. And number two, it's the only way to put the Panther stuff out of our mind is we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen for about 3 or 4 days.
Listen, the bottom line is we're hockey fans.
Exactly.
Hockey's the only sport I watch.
Yeah, I mean, I watch football, but it's not. When I watch football, I'm like, this sucks, especially now. But anyway, that's a subject for a different video. So, 2 games last night. Now, full disclosure, Stu and I both watched the Canes and the Rangers. That was the main focus. But then we also want to get in a little bit into the Calgary Edmonton thing that went on last night. Stu's got the goods on that. So let's just start there, because what you told me before we went on with what happened at Calgary and Edmonton, that just explain to me what happened, because I didn't stay up and see it. And Stu was just besides himself laughing because it apparently something pretty rare happened.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I think I've seen it once before. Anyway, Edmonton was up 3-0. Calgary had 2 goals. Edmonton got a power play. And somebody either passed it wrong or it went off someone's stick. And one of the Calgary players, Anderson, I forget his first name, shot it down the ice on goal. And he kind of looped it, but he shot it. And Smith wasn't paying attention, and it went in the net and tied the game. Very embarrassing.
And
then Smith like held his hands up like he was looking at one of his other players.
Right.
Like it was their fault.
Like it was their
So
maybe he thought he heard a whistle.
Billy Lindsay and I don't know who the other analyst was, but Jamie Hirsch, they were talking about it for like 5 minutes.
Right.
Because it's one of those days. It's really embarrassing. I remember, back in the 80s, Steve Smith was behind the net in Edmonton, and he shot it off Grand Fuhr, and it went in, and that was, mortifying.
Right.
So the fact that it was a tying goal,
right.
It's not good.
It's funny because when I'm watching, I don't do it when I'm alone, but when I'm with somebody, usually when I'm with Kyle, when you see the puck get shot down the ice like that, and the goalie having to make a stop, I always crack the joke, and it goes in.
I've seen it bounce in front of the goalie, and then it goes in. But this was like he was like,
what was he doing?
He wasn't paying attention.
But how do you not pay attention? I mean,
he saw a hot blonde with big knockers in the stands. That's what happened.
I mean, I don't, it'd be like an outfielder in professional, you see that in Little League where the center fielder's not paying attention and the ball hits him in the head. That's funny. And what's really funny about that, now that tied the game, and then Edmonton came back and won, right?
Yeah, we'll wrap up that because that's a quick one. Anyway,
go ahead.
Too much Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
All right. Edmonton scored, and then McDavid got an empty net. So they won 5-3. The takeaways from that game is Evander Kane scored another 2 goals, which makes 5 goals in 2 games because he had the hat trick the game before.
That's right. Yeah.
This guy has been reborn. I looked at his page, his career. He's been on like 7 teams.
Yeah,
he started out with the Atlanta Thrashers.
Wow.
Just imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Buffalo. He was in San Jose, and
right.
And
before
everybody knows the story, but
right. We know there's reasons.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But he's the leading goal scorer. Zach Hyman, who the Panthers had the rights to, that didn't sign with us for whatever reason, signed with Toronto. He had a goal.
Right.
So and McDavid, speaking of McDavid, McDavid has 7 multi-point games in a row.
Jeez.
The all-time record is 8.
Wow.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wow.
So,
Jonathan Huberdeau had a 1 goal in the playoffs. Does that count as the same? No, that's different. That's different than 7 multi-point. Somehow that's different, right? Yeah.
What's incredible is,
don't get us started.
how many multi-point games did Huberdeau have this year?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
He was just lounging at his pool too much. And, if you go on Huberdeau's Instagram, he, like you said yesterday, he's living the life of luxury down here.
Yeah.
And, driving his Lambo and Ferrari, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I thought about what you said yesterday, and it's always been, a thorn in my side that years and years and years of like losing and the way they lose. And I know for a fact that years ago when Trocheck was on the team, these guys used to hang on Los Olas.
Right.
Go to the bars there. So whether it was a win or loss.
Right.
But it's tough playing here. And you're right. These guys are from northern Canada where, in the winter it snows 20 feet of snow in Alberta or Saskatchewan. And, they're living here in Fort Lauderdale where it's 80 degrees and sunny every day.
Yeah.
Instead of, shoveling their driveways, they're at the beach.
They're at the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's enough.
So, right.
You said before we started recording.
Well, that's why we're calling it NHL playoff review. Panthers were in the playoffs, so if we go off for 5 minutes on the Panthers, it's allowed. So, all right. So let's switch to the game we both watched, which was Canes
Rangers. Canes.
Okay. Well, we should say this now. Now, Stu was originally a Ranger fan back when he was a little kid.
I'm from New York.
Right. So, but now I recognize that at least, and I might be being conservative here, at least 20% of my subscribers and the Patreon people and the YouTube members are Tampa Bay Lightning fans. So come Eastern Conference Finals time, it's not going to be as rah-rah like the Panthers, but I'm going to do the videos and the recaps from a pro Tampa Bay POV, which will be fun when we do the reviews because Stu is going to be rooting for the Rangers. So we'll actually be rooting for different teams. So that should be interesting. That should be fun.
All right. So, but I will put this disclaimer in. Just like with the Panthers in 1972, the Islanders were born, and I immediately switched allegiances because I'm from Plainview, Long Island. If there's, anybody from Plainview or, Hicksville, Jericho, whatever, So, and obviously when I moved down here, we didn't have a hockey team, and then we got the hockey team, and I've been a Panther fan since, inception. But listen, the Rangers showed how to get it done. Being down, 2-0.
Yeah.
They take both games at the Garden now. Carolina is 6-0 at home and 0-5 away.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers pretty much dominated that game.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons is they have a goalie by the name of Igor Shesterkin, who was probably the best goalie in the regular season.
Yeah.
And, if the Rangers close it out, and I'm saying the Rangers in 6 because I think they're going to do it. They're going to take the next game.
Right.
Vasilevsky versus Shesterkin.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, that game 7's already in triple overtime. They're not even going to play the first 3 periods. We're already starting overtime, and it's 0-0 in that game. That's going to be if those 2 teams play, there's going to be an opportunity for them to break that record that the Panthers and Avalanche have from '96 with the scoreless tie in the Stanley Cup Finals, because those 2 guys could do it. Now, we both basically texted each other the same thing at the same time about Gerard Gallant. The Rangers just make it 4-1, and instead of, in contrast to our Panthers, where they were all jovial and happy and rah-rah on the bench, which is fine. It's not a complaint, but it's 4-1. And for whatever reason, Gerard Gallant is chewing his bench out, man.
No. It was the first line.
Was it the first line?
It was Kreider, Vizanajak, and Vetrano.
Okay.
And he's like right over, I always pronounce it incorrectly. Vizanajak, whatever.
I can't say it either.
He's got his hand on his shoulder, and I'm not saying he's screaming at him, but
he was really animated.
He's quite animated. Like he didn't like what was going on or whatever.
Right.
So you're right. We texted each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Right.
So obviously, there's a coach that's engaged, as opposed to Bruno, who stands back and just chewing his gum. Now, again, we don't see everything that goes on with the bench because cameras and, the cameras just happen to be on at that time. I've seen Bruno engaging with some of the players or, McKenzie or whatever, but I thought it quite interesting. You're right. They're up 4-1 and, toward the latter part of the third period. And, he's up in arms about something.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So anyway, like I said, the Rangers pretty much dominated that game. The Canes kind of sort of reminded me of the Panthers. Not that they looked disengaged, but they just looked like discombobulated.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
No, and that's passes. It just not like what we're used to with Carolina.
Right.
And then of course, the first goal that's scored by the Rangers on the power play.
Go ahead, you say it.
Frank Vetrano.
Yeah.
And it was just set up where, he was trying to think what happened, but yeah, I know what happened. There was a battle for the puck on the boards.
Right.
Which he won.
Yeah.
And he got it back to the point and then kind of glided into the, sweet
into that spot.
On the camera to the right of the goal.
And I think it was Lindner.
To the left of the goal.
Right.
And he's a left-handed shot, and the puck was fed to him perfectly, and he just buried it.
He just buried it. Exactly.
Okay. He didn't just, shoot at ice level where it gets stopped by one of the defensemen. He buried it.
He buried it. He had an assist on the second goal too. The one where
Kreider
breaks his stick.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Kreider breaks his stick on a shot, and instead of going to the bench, he kicks it in the corner.
Yep.
And there's a Ranger player and a Carolina defenseman, and
he got it back out to Lindgren, I think, and then Lindgren shot it.
Defensive mistake. How many times have I told you how many goals are scored in the playoffs, especially in critical situations?
Yep.
Whether it's nerves or trying to get the puck out, coughed it up and bang, bang.
Yeah.
It's in the net.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Panarin's goal or no, it was Fox.
Yeah. Lindgren got
Fox's
it back out,
goal.
got it out to the point, and then Fox, I believe, deflected it in.
And
the other thing there, for Carolina is obviously they weren't looking to go with Ranta, but things being what they are, they've had
Freddie Anderson's hurt.
Yeah, Anderson is
is
supposedly practicing and getting close to ready, but I have a feeling by the time he's ready, but look,
exactly.
But still the Rangers have to win something on the road here. They still have to win one on the road.
Right.
And
so the last highlight, the last guy for me is Andrew Kopp, who scored 2 goals. Now he was a trade deadline pickup from Winnipeg. So was Vetrano.
Right.
So you got Sherratt and Giroux. I mean, Giroux produced in the regular season, but when it came down to,
he had that one good game. He had the one good game against Washington.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, in the Tampa series, he was like
everybody was
MIA.
Yeah.
Sherratt again, I think played decent.
Right.
Okay, so I mean, there you go. These 2 pickups and especially Vetrano. who I think now has 5 goals in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And like you said yesterday, he has more goals than the Panthers had combined.
Yeah. And look, Tampa
and
too.
I still think he's not done.
No, he's not done.
I have a feeling, just to like give us listen, we weren't going to re-sign him.
Right.
We didn't have the money. So, he was a fan favorite. I loved him. You loved him. But the bottom line is, just like Uyghur,
right,
we couldn't afford
We're not going to have money for him. Right.
So Bill Zito did him a solid.
Yeah, he did.
Instead of trading him to a West Coast team, like LA or Santa, he trades him to the Rangers.
Yep.
He's in the Metro, but he's still in the East.
Right.
And, speculation, hypothetically, what would have happened if the Rangers played the Panthers in the conference finals? I guarantee you Vetrano would have destroyed them.
Yeah, he would have been and that was one of the things during the season I didn't want to see was Gallant. And then I didn't want to see Gallant and Shesterkin. And then we gave him Vetrano. I'm like, yeah, that's got disappointment written all over it. But to your point about the deadline pickups, you've seen it with the Lightning too. I mean, Hagel and Paul have been lights. I mean, they've played a big, especially Hagel. I mean,
Hagel,
and he's young, and they're going to sign him, and he's going to be a pain in our ass for a long time, Stu.
Yep,
he's going to be he's pissed off about that.
You got to give Tampa credit for a couple of things. That is their drafts and their trades.
Yeah,
they lost basically their whole third line. They lost Coleman. Who was the kid in Seattle?
Gaudreau.
Got his name, and then they lost another. They lost another player who I think's playing on the Rangers. Anyway, but they got guys that they replaced them with.
And, they just replaced.
Didn't seem to like miss a beat. So not Vasily. So Shesterkin, Igor, and he was. He made the saves when needed, but Carolina was like the Panthers. They just didn't.
They didn't have.
We had 49 shots, guys.
Right.
49 shots on Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a numbers game. You would think that we would pop in at least, one, two, 3 goals.
Right. And now the other thing about the game last night, this is a little bit, not off topic, but the ESPN, and I've noticed this specifically at the Ranger games. This happened during the Ranger Pittsburgh series, and it pissed me off last night. I've noticed it, but now it pissed me off because they had the rules guy on for an explanation of one of the power plays, one of the penalties, and I don't know if ESPN has their mics placed in a bad spot or if it's just that loud in the garden, but when the announcers, when the PA announcer is like announcing the power play or announcing something, you can't hear the TV guys at all. And and I wanted because on the recap, I was like, I wanted an explanation so I could give an explanation that the TV guys were given. And it's just this weird thing. I don't know if it's just that loud in the garden or if they have
it's loud in the garden.
Is that what it is?
That's a tough place to play, man.
Yeah.
That New York crowd, when things get going, you can't hear yourself.
Right.
My biggest laugh of the night, Max Domi got crushed by one of the Rangers, and one of the Carolina guys like jumped him and ended up getting a 5-minute major, 10-minute misconduct. I don't know why he wasn't thrown out of the game.
Yeah,
but it's Max Domi.
Right.
And ever since he sucker punched Ekblad, it's like he's one of those players like Tom Wilson.
Right.
And I don't wish anybody to get hurt. But Max Domi is a guy that I want to see, his bell rung.
Yeah.
Because he's a dirty player, number one. And number two, he's a shit stirrer because the previous game, the Rangers won. He started trouble at the end of the game.
Right. Well, there was scrums and almost half fights at the end of this game too.
Right.
Yeah. Last night. Yeah.
So
So what do you think? As we're getting ready to close this, do you think Calgary has it in? Because everybody was picking Calgary to maybe even win the cup, and now they're down 3-1 to Edmonton. I don't think people thought Edmonton was going to. It's kind of like the Panthers a little bit. It's where like you didn't think they were going to put it together, Edmonton.
Yeah, listen, too much Connor McDavid.
Right.
The guy's he's unstoppable. It's a beautiful thing,
right,
to watch that kid skate.
Right.
You know, he's the road runner, but
right.
he's also smart with his speed because he could stop on a dime. You know, he did it with one of the plays where, you know, he's jamming and then he'll put on the brakes, spin around and make a pass.
Right.
Draisaitl hasn't really been.
Well, he's hurt.
Yeah, he's definitely. And there was an article that I read yesterday that there's a whole big shit going on that Calgary has been like targeting his foot or his leg or whatever.
Huh.
So, yeah, I heard that. So anyway, as far as Calgary coming back, I don't see it happening.
Right.
They're going back to Calgary. You know, obviously they have Daryl Sutter, the coach. So I expect them to win the next game, but you never know.
Right.
But I do think eventually Edmonton is either going to win in 6 or 7 games.
Right. And then so we got the Colorado St. Louis is tonight, correct? Yeah. That's the only game, right? Because we're done. So there's only the 4. So that's the only game tonight. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
And I think, you know, this is a game where I think Cal McCarr, that Colorado defenseman, I think he's going to, you know, have an impact on the game.
Okay.
As well as McKinnon.
Yeah.
Calgary, Tampa. I mean, Colorado, Tampa.
The migrating geese are right over my house. The geese are going home for the winter, and I'm hearing this, and I'm thinking, is that a dog yelping? But no, it's 1,000 geese are on my way because the bay is like I could practically throw a rock. So they're all going home. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to make sure it wasn't a dog yelping. It's 1,000 geese over there.
Yeah, no worries. I used to see those on Long Island. Obviously, that they don't come down here to Florida.
Yeah.
But anyway, I would like to see the Rangers close it out. And you know,
that would be a reverse sweep if they win in 6.
Yeah.
But pretty much.
You know, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. It's been a good playoffs, and it sucks that our Panthers are out. You know, and
it's the way they went out.
They went
out. The way they played. You know, they showed up one game.
Yeah.
And that was actually they didn't play bad in that second game. And you know, that game was going to overtime, and we had a good record in overtime. And you never know what could have happened.
You and I both knew it. That's when the series.
Yeah.
3.8 seconds.
They didn't have any puck luck in that last game.
Right.
You know, the 4th game, they hit the post 3 times.
Yeah.
They had Vasilevsky beat 3 times.
Wasn't that the one where it hit like 2 posts? Or
Verhaeghe.
Yeah, I mean, when the puck
went off the right post and then went to the left, or you know,
it went like exactly along the whole. I mean, it was just
it was that doesn't happen too often.
Now, all that said, Tampa was just better. I mean, they were just better. I mean, but
that's
at the
why,
same point, right?
If you want to be objective, you know, I know you have Tampa fans, you know, on the channel, but you know, being objective now. Tampa's pretty much got it all. You know you know what I said about their defense.
Right.
You know, Hedman, Sergachev, Kernack, and McDonough, those 4, you know, out of the 6, those 4 are real strong.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got Kucherov. And to me, everything
right
goes through Kucherov.
Yeah, he's
the main guy. And then you got Stamkos and Maroon
and then if they do make a mistake, Vasilevsky, if they
Yep.
do make a mistake, first of all, somebody's going to lay down in front of the puck. And if it does get past the guy who lays down in front of the puck, Vasilevsky makes the saves. It's just, that's why they've won 2. That's why they're probably going to win 3. I mean, I'm looking at the Rangers. What I'm seeing right now is the Rangers are the only one that are going to have a chance against Tampa Bay because it's just Shesterkin. And if he could somehow outdo Vasilevsky, which good luck. You know,
it's gonna, if that's the conference final,
right?
That's a great conference final.
Yeah.
Observation on the Rangers, they made sure quickly that the puck got out of the defensive zone,
right?
And that flip thing that the game has changed. You never saw that, high arcing. Whatever you want to call that, popping it out of the zone. I never saw that, but that's become a regular thing in today's game.
Well, guys are so fast.
The Rangers were really good about,
yeah,
moving the puck out of the D zone, and that's something we didn't do. We let Tampa set up too many times.
Too many times.
And when you have a team doing the cycle and passing it around. And if they're in the zone more than 30 seconds, 45,
eventually they're going to pop it in.
Going to go in the net.
Yeah, it's going to go in the net. Exactly right.
So I just want to see good hockey.
Yeah. Last night
I'd like to see St. Louis, take another game, but
yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. So, all right, guys, that'll do it. Like I said, we're working on a couple of season ending reviews for the Panthers and everything like that. I know I'm going to be back tonight with St. Louis and Colorado because we're running out of games here. This is going to get narrowed down really fast. So I'm going to make as much content. Stu and I are going to make as much content for the games as we possibly can. And then we'll go from there. Maybe I think Stu and I are going to do a topless bikini show once the season is over. We're going to switch to topless old men content. That we got to grow the fan. We need more women. So we'll everybody's clicking off the video right now. We're going to have so many throw up emojis in the comments. All right, guys, we appreciate all the support, all the new subscribers. Thank you. Everything has been wonderful and perfect. And I'll be back tonight. Stu and I will be back tomorrow morning. And we'll see you when we see you.